Hello, what is up guys? It's EvilDuosArm here today, back with another KurtzPel video. So it has been a while since I produced any content on KurtzPel. If you remember, I left the game about 3 months ago because I was kind of disappointed with a few of the progression systems, as well as the PvP really didn't do anything for me, and there wasn't much PvE content. So, in my comments section, I've been getting a lot of comments recently saying, hey Levi, you should come back and check out KurtzPel and do a review on it and see what you think of it now. A lot of things have changed. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at KurtzPel as the game, look at the PvE content, look at the PvP, things that have changed gear-wise, any new systems that have been added, and give you an overview on my opinions as to playing the game now here about 4 months after the game's initial release. Real quick before we begin, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing as it does mean a lot to me, and without further ado, we're going to get into it and start taking a look at some of the hub world systems that are in the game. And the first hub world addition that came in since I've last played the game is this thing called the supply box over here. So the supply box is basically your typical RNG box system that's been added into this game, as we see in so many other games. Basically, after you get a certain amount of the in-game currency, the CP, as well as AP, the ability points, you can go ahead and purchase one of these boxes. After you open up the box, you get some of the random items inside of here. It has the percentages which are listed, which is pretty cool, so you at least know what your chances of getting different things are. A lot of games don't do that, so that's a neat little system that's added into it. But overall, it's your typical RNG box system that has been added into the game. Now, of course, it wouldn't be an RNG system if you couldn't buy the currencies in the actual Steam store. And I don't know if this is opening up, but you can buy these with real-life money as well. So, typical RNG box system. The next thing that seems to have changed recently is going to be the Affinity Point system. So you can see on the top left corner there, it shows me how many more affinity points, like directly above my head, I need for my next level with Ensure Reinhardt, which is pretty cool. That didn't used to do that. You used to have to like keep track of it yourself by going into your journal, your log on the R key, and then there was like the game menu. You'd have to go to like the player info and then scroll down to the affinity and check it all to see who you were closest with and pick which one you wanted to do. But now you can just see what you have the closest one. So when you talk to Ensure over here, you can pick whoever you're the closest for. It is still the same system though, where you go into the map, you look at the region that has a higher probability of that person showing up. So let's just go ahead and do this one and request the mission and show you. And eventually after running enough missions, your character will either appear or like you see right here, she just appeared in the actual area since it's Ensure, and you'll get the reward. So exact same system as it's always been. You just pick a random option and you get points from it. So that leveled up Ensure up to my next level. So the next time I run a mission, I'm going to get the rewards from Ensure. So let's just go ahead and run another one. And eventually, after you've filled up the affinity meter, you will go ahead and get this option where you can go ahead and talk to her after you complete a mission. After you complete the mission, she'll go ahead and give you whatever rewards were due at that level that you got, she or he, whichever one you were doing. So anyway, same exact gear progression system as there has always been. Now, the gear progression system hasn't changed much, but the overall character progression system has changed significantly since before. So one of my biggest complaints with the game was that in order to change your default starting stats, you needed to actually pay the character creation or recreation voucher in the store, so it was like pay to adjust your stats, and then ultimately could be considered like a pay to win. You can get better stats for whatever spec that you're using by paying money. So that was been actually adjusted in the Tome of Knowledge. You can adjust your stats now, and you just have to spend the in-game currency that you get from completing missions. So that's pretty cool. So if you wanted to be full-on using like the bow or something, you could adjust your stats to make yourself the best that you can be at whatever weapon. But otherwise, the gear progression is the same. You pick your weapon, you pick the different things you want to upgrade, like if you wanted to upgrade your weapon damage of whatever weapon you've got. Click it all, same exact system as there was before. Now, another major complaint of mine was that you could only play as the archer or the sword user, the great sword user, because the other two classes were DLC content that you had to buy. Well, that's changed. They've released them both as completely free to play. You get them for doing some side quests, which is pretty cool, so you can play all the different classes available in the game. Like I said, a lot more enjoyable for playing the different content. And in that same vein, because they've added those classes in that you can just play them no matter what, it also has increased the overall PvE content that's available. They've added some more PVE Dungeons, and a big complaint of mine was also that there weren't very many PVE Dungeons. Additionally, after completing the dungeons a few more times, you unlock more difficult levels of the dungeons, so it's constantly improving its the amount of difficulty required in the overall experience. You know, you feel like you're getting better, you feel like you're progressing in the game. And with those changes in PvE content, we also have daily challenges and weekly challenges that are both PvE and PvP oriented. So you can see on the right side there, I have one for completing missions at a certain difficulty. I've done 1 of 4 of that. So it adds incentive for you to go ahead and run these missions over and over to grind them to get the higher difficulties unlocked to be able to complete the weekly and daily challenges. Additional changes to PvE content, we now have 4-player dungeons. So previously when I last played, there were only 2-player dungeons available. So let's go ahead and hop in and check out one of those. Alright, so not going to lie, that took about 11 minutes to find a party, so that was kind of disappointing, but I'm hoping that it is fun to play with more than just 2 people. So there's a lot going on. We have multiple enemies to fight at the same time. This is actually pretty fun, not gonna lie. You gotta keep track of everything going on all at the same time. And they're all after me. Unapologetically, of course. Alright, let's... Ooh, okay. I'm never gonna get a better opportunity than that to line that one up. And he's down. I think that's it. I think that's all 5. Oh god. What do we gotta do against this thing now? Oh, that's it. Cool. Let's see how I did. Did I hit at least 25%? Probably not. No, I did. 26% damage, 24% break. I was an even contributor to the team. Anyway, that was actually a lot of fun. I had to keep track of a lot of things. You had the 4 teammates to work with. I would say that's definitely a very large improvement to the PVE side of the game. So that's pretty cool. I wish that it didn't have such a long queue time. I guess if you had a lot of friends, people probably queue up with friends for that to do that. It's probably something along those lines. And so that only leaves one last thing to talk about here in the game, and that is PvP. So since I last played, there has been the addition of a Battle Royale style mode. So I'm going to go ahead and hop right in and give it a go and see how this goes. Alright, that also took like about 4 or 5 minutes to go, so if you do plan on playing these, make sure you set yourself up for something to do in between. Yeah, I still hate PvP in this game. Still hate PvP in this game. So, anyway, that is basically going to conclude my gameplay here of KurtzPel. So that last little experience of PvP is exactly how I remember it being. Stun locked and CC chained until you die. Sure, I have no idea how to play any of the classes in PvP, but personally for me, not enjoyable. If you like those combo-based games where you stun lock people and just kill them and it's a lot of fun for you, then you'll probably love it. Personally, I hate it. I'm a strategy person. I like PvE. PvE aspect of this game got a lot better, so that is very positive. But for me personally, PvP is still no fun. Anyway, guys, I hope this gives you an idea. If you want to pick back up KurtzPel, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. Check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I will see you at the next video. Peace.